What's up, everyone? Welcome back to Turf Watch, episode number 6. Pittsburgh Steelers are coming off their bye week to face the Los Angeles Rams. Should be well rested, but there's plenty of things to talk about this week. A lot of things that are having Steelers fans up in arms. But today we're also going to look and see what the Los Angeles Rams fans are saying, as well as the national media going into this game. So going into this game, both teams, the Steelers and the Rams, are going into it both as kind of middle of the pack, but still in the hunt type of teams. The Steelers are 3-2, and after the bye week, they dropped to second in AFC North, and the Rams are 3-3, and they're hovering around the middle of the NFC West. So two talented teams, but I think this week is going to be the biggest test for the Steelers secondary so far. Now, if you've been keeping up with this show for the last couple weeks, you know that I'm all about the trends. What things have happened in the past that show us how this game will unfold? Well, under head coach Mike Tomlin, the Steelers have a 12-4 record in games after a team's bye week. So that's a good trend going into this game. Mike Tomlin's teams are a little bit sharper coming off a bye week. Before we get into some specific takes today, I just want to look around Twitter or X, whatever you want to call it. I just want to see some predictions that people are having about the Steelers' upcoming game. We got some predictions here. Just fan looking forward. He predicts that the Steelers will lose this week to the Rams. This guy predicts that the Rams will beat the Steelers this week. Another Rams over Steelers. All right, there we go. This is a Steelers fan, but he says Steelers will win 27-13. Kenny Pickett will have 249 passing yards and throw 2 touchdowns for only the second time in his career. Deontay will be back. He anticipates him to get some catches. So that's going to be huge. Steelers are healing up. Should have Pat Freiermuth. Should have Deontay Johnson. Cam Hayward just getting healthier every single day. So this team, that bye week was perfect timing for the Steelers, where they can get some guys on the same page, get a little more health in the building. So let's take a look at DraftKings, the #1 sports book. Let's see what the odds are this week. The Steelers are 3-point underdogs. I always like to mention that you can kind of give or take 2 points for a home team. So I think they're really thinking that this game will be 1 to 2 points. Over under 43.5, which is higher than I think all of the Steelers games have been this season. Personally, I'm not really a betting guy, but I would hammer the under here. Steelers have struggled to put more than 15 points on the board. Now the Rams, they have a talented offense. They'll force the Steelers to score, but I don't think we'll get a score total quite as high as that. 43.5, it's kind of middle of the league. There's a bunch that are like 30s. Yeah, that's kind of high compared to the rest of the league. I mean, compared to Chargers and Chiefs, which most people are anticipating to be a shootout, that's 48.5. So only 5 more points difference for the over-under. I think that's pretty interesting. But 3-point underdog for the Steelers, I kind of get it. The Rams have been heating up a little bit. They've been better than people thought they were going to be. Now, outside a few key players like Matt Stafford, Cooper Kupp, Aaron Donald, this team is kind of depleted from their Super Bowl run just 2 years ago. Now, having those talented players means a ton, but for them to be playing as good as they have, I think it's a testament to Sean McVay and Matt Stafford especially. I would say that the #1 thing that people have been talking about this week, it's been less of Fire Canada, it's been less of Bench Pickett. Now the big topic this week has been, why aren't you starting the rookies? You got Broderick Jones and Joey Porter Jr., who you took with top 32 picks in the draft, and they haven't seen as much time as we liked. Broderick Jones, he had some decent plays last week. He looked pretty good in his first start. But now with Dan Moore back to being healthy, he's kind of trending in a direction that he will be the starter this Sunday. As of this morning, Wednesday, October 18th, Broderick Jones said that no one knows who will be the starting left tackle for the Steelers on Sunday against the Rams. So it's still up in the air at this point. Someone in the comment section saying, my guess that it will be Broderick. No worries, the game is on Sunday. No reason to know if you're starting or not. I mean, you'd think you'd want to know. You think that goes into planning. You had a bye week. You've had, at this point, over 10 days to prepare, and you're still not sure who the left tackle is. It is a bit concerning for us fans. This guy brings up an interesting point. He said they may know, but we're told to say otherwise, because if it's not Broderick, the fans will have their arms up in air. Yeah, the fans will be upset, but I don't think it's going to be I don't think it's as deep as this guy's making out to be. It's not some conspiracy. Keep your lips shut. We don't want to make the fans upset. It's a business. They don't care to an extent making their fans upset. They want to win games. I know personally I think the Steelers have a better chance if Broderick's starting, but These guys get paid big bucks because they know this stuff. They know ball. So if Dan Moore's the guy, personally, me and I know a lot of level-headed Steelers fans won't be up in arms about this decision. They probably know what they're doing. But it does suck to see a guy that you use such high draft capital on not really see the field. And speaking of offensive linemen, we're facing a former Steeler this week, offensive guard Kevin Dotson, who's had a really good season for the Rams right now. He's got a PFF score of 85.3 this season, which ranks above both the Steelers guards, and also makes him the highest graded guard this season. So do you think this is a revenge game for Kevin Dotson, and do you think it's a revenge game for Allen Robinson going back to LA? I'm not sure. It's great to see Kevin Dotson doing well. I was always a fan of him. Wasn't completely on board when they got rid of him, especially seeing what our guards are doing this season, but happy to see him doing his thing. To go along with this Broderick talk, the Rams are likely to start rookie edge Byron Young, and he's had 3 sacks this season, pretty good for a rookie. Now, Broderick Jones, he faced him last year at Georgia when Byron Young was playing at Tennessee, and he didn't allow any sacks, so could be interesting. Using that history, you'd think you want a guy that's dominated this person in the past. Now, I mentioned the super talented wide receivers that the Rams have, but there's no one more talented, possibly in the league, than Cooper Kupp. Last time that Cooper Kupp was held without catch was when the Rams played the Steelers in 2019. Yesterday in Tomlin's weekly press conference, he said, "Man, 2019 was a football life ago." It sure was. Cooper Kupp definitely was not the same guy that he was in 2019. He's going against Patrick Peterson. He's going against Levi Wallace. He might have a field day. I'm concerned. Who's going to stop these guys on Sunday? Davante Adams, he had a great game, and that was with a lesser quarterback than what we're going up this Sunday. I'm concerned. I'm not going to lie. Cooper Kupp, you got to find a way to stop this guy, and sometimes that's just impossible. Steelers fans expect winning. I expect winning from this team. We all want that. It's obvious as just being a fan of any type of team, but sometimes I think that Steelers fans get a bit too obsessed with where they're at in the current moment. We're second place in the AFC North, a very tight, very tough division to win, and fans are acting like we're the Panthers. We're 0-6. Could you imagine right now if we were 0-6 how Yinzers would feel, how they would be acting? And then to add to that, you got the Panthers who are 0-6, and they're posting this. Now, could you imagine if Kenny Pickett, they had him dressing up in a Spider-Man costume, saying some weird stuff? Just not a good look for your starting quarterback. Really bad. Not in a literal way, but it's just not a good look, and I know that fans are tearing them up in here. They're all saying we're 0-6. Use your powers to win a game. City's Panthers are going 0-17 now. Wow. Yeah, okay, maybe it'd be similar. 0-6 and y'all posted this. Crazy. Just be thankful that you're a Steelers fan and not a Panthers fan. Something I've been hearing a lot about this week is how Kenny Pickett's a winner. He might not be the most talented guy. He's never going to shock you with his arm strength, but at the end of the day, he's going to be clutch in these big moments. And Bill Simmons, he agreed with this one this week when he compared Kenny Pickett to Eli Manning. He says it's an incredible comparison. The throw he had to Pickens at the end of the Ravens game is the most Eli moment ever that Eli wasn't involved in. It's very similar to an Eli thing in that the teammates love Eli. They trusted Eli for whatever reason, and he would come through over and over again in the moments you would watch the totality of the game and say, is Eli Manning good? Maybe Kenny Pickett is becoming the next Eli. So that's an interesting quote there from Bill Simmons. Would you be okay if Kenny Pickett had very similar career as Eli Manning, same stats, same rings, same everything? Would you be okay with that? 2 Super Bowls, especially getting them over Tom Brady. Let's say Kenny Pickett won 2 Super Bowls against Patrick Mahomes. I think I would be very happy with that career. There's definitely some pain as having Eli Manning as your quarterback, but you get those championships, and that's all that matters. Like I said earlier, the AFC North is super tight, super competitive. Someone brought up a good point on Twitter. They said that the Steelers have a negative 31-point differential, and they were in first in the AFC North after Week 5 before the bye week, and the Bengals have a 31-point differential. Of course, that was before the previous week, but that was the first and fourth place teams in the AFC North. So this division's anyone still. Steelers are very much in it, even if the offense isn't looking as good as you want them to be. Following Week 5, the Steelers, with that negative 31-point differential, sat at the bottom of all divisional leaders. So here's just another look of the point differentials between all of them following Week 5. 49ers, nearly 100 points scored through 5 weeks over their opponents. And then you got the Chiefs, Dolphins, Lions, Eagles. There's no one with negative point differential in leading a division outside the Steelers. If they win this week, they're still right in it with the Ravens. And if the Ravens lose, they'll be back in first place. So this is good right now. Probably as good of a start that the Steelers could get as far as the production that they've been getting out of their offense. So I would just say be grateful for right now and hope that they're trending in the right direction, because they're going to need a lot of help to make it to the playoffs this season. It's going to be tough, but I do think it's possible. All right, let's see what the Rams fans are saying. We're here on Los Angeles Rams subreddit. They're feeling pretty good right now. They're happy with the situation that they're in after 6 weeks. Aaron Donald's still playing good as a veteran, so it's good to see. This guy said, here's just an example of how loud the Ramley can get SoFi on game days. This isn't happening when the Pittsburgh Steelers are in town. I can promise you that. Whatever Ramley is, it's not better than the Steeler Nation. They definitely don't show up, and they definitely aren't as loud as them, so that's outrageous. Byron Young, he's up there with most quarterback pressures in 2023. He has 32, which is best for tied for second, only behind Micah Parsons. So if you have a guy like Broderick Jones who locked him up in college, and you got a guy like Dan Moore who's kind of been struggling against NFL competition this year, it's tough to see these numbers and say that Broderick isn't the guy. Puka Nacua, 4th in the league with receiving yardage between Stephon Diggs, DJ Moore, Justin Jefferson, Jamar Chase. I mean, he's on a different level right now, only behind Tyreek, A.J. Brown, Stephon Diggs. Remarkable stuff. So how do you stop this guy, especially when you also got Cooper Kupp to defend? I don't know. I'm scared. I'm just convinced that the Rams don't have any real fans because they aren't saying anything about the Steelers. I couldn't find anything on Twitter. I couldn't find anything on Reddit. All they do is talk about themselves and just they're just not normal NFL fans. This just isn't right. Now let's go over to a subreddit with some real football fans, the Pittsburgh Steelers subreddit. They're talking about Broderick Jones. They're upset about it. So am I. So is everyone. It says, plot twist, they both start and Chooks is a swing tackle. They said they know they aren't telling because either way it would create more drama. Maybe within the organization, I don't think we should worry about drama within the fan base. This guy brings up a good point. Tomlin said yesterday in his press conference, when teams are putting together plans, it doesn't behoove me to talk strategic things in great detail. Now, there's a good response. There is zero reason to come out and say who the left tackle will be, especially coming out of a bye week. Do you want to give him more of an advantage? Do you want to give him some more preparation for this game? This guy says he thinks they might be testing Jones to see how he reacts to all this. That would be interesting. Not sure if we're quite in that position to do that. Maybe if we were the Chiefs, maybe if we were the 49ers, we could go out there and kind of test how players react to certain things. It's interesting to see. Will he take it like a true competitor, or will he be upset about it? Who knows? But that's an interesting point that's brought up here. We know that the Steelers' offense hasn't been great this season. They haven't even been good this season, but it's hard to fully comprehend how bad it is until you look at this graph, which compares scripted plays to non-scripted plays. It shows that the Steelers are the worst at scripted plays, and they're middle of the pack when it comes to non-scripted plays. I think even without this graph, Steelers fans have just been watching the games, and they see when Steelers are in 2-minute drills or hurry-up offense that their offense typically moves better compared to like first drive of the season. I can't tell you how many 3-and-outs there have been where those should be scripted plays. That first drive should be scripted, but they mostly turn into 3-and-outs here, and that's why you see them at the very far end of the x-axis, I believe. Y-axis? I don't know. I haven't been in math class. Steelers fan here says, if you aim to put your best 22 on the field every game, then it makes no sense for Joey Porter Jr. and Broderick Jones to not be on the field at all times. Rookie or not, play the better football player. Here's a Steelers fan reacting to the bye week, and he lists what the Steelers have done since then. They've kept Matt Canada. They've kept Joey Porter off the field. They cut a cornerback who should be in a rotation. Speaking about Desmond King, I don't know if he belongs in that rotation, but I do think he was a good kick returner, at least better than Gunner. So I was a little bit questionable of that release just because of the kick returning factor, not necessarily because of being in a cornerback rotation. He brought in a rookie corner who didn't make his own team, and according to scouting reports, struggles in man coverage and tackling. So this is the move that they made in response to cutting Desmond King. They signed a new cornerback, basically just to fill the room up. I haven't read a ton into this guy. I don't know, but apparently this guy's saying that he's struggled in man coverage and tackling, and the scouting report isn't great. Oh well. And he also brings up keeping Gunner, the worst wide receiver of the Tomlin era. I wholeheartedly agree with this. I usually try not to be too hard on the guys. I want to be as optimistic as possible. But Gunnar Olszewski is awful. There's no reason to release Desmond King and keep him. Awful receiver, awful kick returner. There have just been so many, I don't want to say brain dead plays. I don't want to be a jerk for no reason. But there have been plays that have shown that he isn't worthy of a roster spot, in my opinion. Now, I would never say a guy shouldn't have a job. I think he should maybe be on a lesser team. I just don't think he helps the Steelers right now. And it hurts to see other guys be released when you think that they're better than this guy. Oh well, we wish for the best of him going forward. I'd like to see Calvin Austin return some kicks, but if it's going to be Gunner, we got to see some improvement there. We just have to. I understand Steelers fans are upset. It's weird coming off a bye week, and there are more things to be upset about than before the bye week, especially when they just won against the Ravens, a divisional matchup. We got to stay optimistic here. Steelers are still in the hunt. They're in second place. The AFC North is theirs if they keep pushing along. So I believe in this team. I'm very excited for this Sunday. If you just find a way to slow down Cooper Kupp and Puka Nacua, I think that they have a real good shot. So we're going to wrap this one up right here. I hope you guys enjoyed the game on Sunday. And here we go, Steelers.